Hi, welcome to Suplex the Sticks, a gaming podcast hosted by David and Seth
Hello.
and Forrest.
Howdy. And your mom.
Oh, this is Mother's Day this weekend coming
That's
up.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Mother's
So,
Day.
Happy
Mom.
Mother's Day to the moms. All the moms.
Yep.
Forrest
Even
is
your
frequently
Oh, got him
Forrest
again.
is frequently
Got him again.
late to the show because of his mom. Because he likes to have dinner with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got to marry his mother-in-law.
He does have to marry his
I do not.
mother-in-law.
I did not flinch.
Look, you flinched.
You flinched.
You have to marry your mother-in-law.
You admit it. You love your mother-in-law.
It's true, Nylette. If you're listening to this,
Marry
thanks.
Why are you doxing her? What do you want me?
yeah.
What's her social?
him. Yeah. if you're going to dox her, then do it.
Go the full way.
So I have been playing video games. Surprise. I have
Big
also
surprise.
He admitted.
you know
He admitted.
listen. I tried to finish Knuckles before this show.
I haven't started it.
Same.
Good luck. Paramount Plus
I thought about watching it today, and then I was like,
Paramount Plus is a garbage software on the Xbox, and it has a really hard time operating. And
it seems like most streaming platforms on Xbox are not good.
Yeah.
you would think it would not be that way.
I
It's
mean,
very
given
annoying.
the people who make choices at the top, I'm not sure that everything on Xbox isn't terrible.
Right. But besides that, the streaming, like that, they have nothing to do with the streaming,
And the
the quality of
infrastructure.
the infrastructure of
Yeah.
the streaming apps. They may make bad decisions in other ways, very bad ones. But I don't think you can pin the performance of Paramount Plus on
That's probably fair.
Phil
And Matt
Booty.
Booty.
But so yeah, I just I tried. I really did to finish it. I finished Fallout though, and Fallout's great. Everyone should watch Fallout.
Still working my way through it.
Supposedly, we all love. This is the video game media catch up. The Borderlands cast is going to be at IGN Live, which is IGN
Interesting.
trying to do their own Jeff Cayley-esque thing attached to the time frame of the Summer Game Fest.
There it is. It's all very
Okay.
straightforward.
Yeah.
If you
I-
don't understand it, it's your fault.
I don't know if IGN Live is a part of the Summer Game Fest, but I know that it is happening near/around the Summer Game Fest.
It's gonna be like that few set of years where it was like unofficial E3 season. Like E3 wasn't happening, but everyone was still having their showcases at pretty much the same times.
Well, that's what we have now.
Yeah.
We're going to have the Cayley time, and Microsoft has said that they're going to have their time, I think, 2 days before that with a redacted direct, which is just going to be Call of Duty. It's very stupid to call it a redacted direct when it's going to be Black Ops. That's why it's called a redacted direct. And then Nintendo has said that they're going to have a direct
Yeah,
in
they
June.
announced a direct in the strangest way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that the CEO was like, "Hey, CEO here," in the tweet. Mr. Nintendo, I'm here. There's going to be a new Switch eventually, but
I
you
wonder
won't.
if he
but that
actually
won't-
hit send on that.
No, God, no. Some intern copy pasted that from a
I'd like
Word
to
doc.
think
An
that it
internal
was
memo.
him.
Yeah. There will be a Switch too, but
He
we will
wrote it.
not be talking about it at the next.
He didn't hit send on it, but he did write it in the tweet function and the screenshot thing in the Nintendo Switch, where you can tweet out a screenshot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the screenshot was of course, the Nintendo Switch red screen. So I am here to tell you about a video game I played to completion, and that is Splatoon 3. I started that story mode, and I did not stop playing it, and then I finished.
I thought you did this forever ago.
No, you see, I had a son, and I had a son right when Splatoon 3 came out, and that severely hindered my ability to play Splatoon 3.
Fair.
And then other things came out, and I played those instead. And now for months to years since then, as my son is now 1.5 years old, so 1.5 years has gone by, and I decided, you know what? I really need to play that story mode. And I put it aside for too long, in my opinion. The story mode is excellent.
Yeah.
It's a lot of great little challenges. They ask you to use different weapons, and it teaches you how to use the different weapons in creative ways to make you better in the game sometimes. I don't know how good I am at the game still. I don't think I'm very good. But there are matches that I play where I'm like, ooh, I think I'm cooking. So it's hard because Splatoon is a game of, there's a lot of different stats and they all mean special things, and you just have to have the right gear and level everything up. And I'm a little bit, and by a little I mean a lot of bit behind the curve on that because other people have been playing since launch and I'm kind of re-finding myself in this world. I haven't really toyed around with the horde mode because I would rather do that with at least one or two other friends.
Sure.
And it's always available. But the story mode is a 5 to 7 hour challenge mode, sort of. It is very similar to the, what's it called, Last Order in the last one, the Splatoon 2 DLC?
I don't know. You're the only one that played it.
Yeah.
The delicious last.
No, that was that you're thinking of Cuphead DLC.
Yes, you're right.
But so the Splatoon 2 DLC was a Subway type situation where it was a bunch of challenges, and everyone loved it, and they took inspiration from that for this campaign, and it was a resounding success. I loved it. I think everyone should play it. It has a really fun story, and the character interactions in it are very fun and good. And that game really, because they know how to get the most out of the Switch hardware, it's just a beautiful video game. And like the amount of detail that goes into the paint and you stepping and sliding in paint and stuff, what they accomplish is insane for what the Nintendo Switch is, which is essentially a graphing calculator at this point. So it's, it's
It's a little rude.
I know, but like
man.
it's not, you know what I mean? Like it is compared to like the fact that this runs on it is wild to me, and it's able to keep up with stuff. Like there's like a big, so it's split up into 7 sections, and each of the sections is not small, and it keeps track of how much paint you've put on there. So like what they could easily do to help save memory when it's loading between things is to erase the paint each time you load back into the map. But it keeps the paint. Like it keeps all that stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point of the game. It's got to keep the paint.
I understand that, but it is very impressive that it keeps it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's a lot to keep track of. It's sort of why the open world Pokemon games have such a performance issue, and that it's trying to track a bunch of different things at once. And
the people developing Splatoon are better at what they do.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I've done that, and I also made an irresponsible purchase since the last time we conversed.
A Tesla Cybertruck?
No. My fingers are still
That would be
intact.
beyond irresponsible.
It's
so irresponsible it loops back into being responsible.
I have spent $130 on a Riffmaster Guitar Hero controller.
Yes,
yeah.
that's right. That's right. I've seen it in action.
And I have spent a good amount of time playing Rock Band 4 and Fortnite Festival, which is the Fortnite music mode where they have updated it now to work with the Riffmaster. My real opinions on that, as someone that spent a lot of time with Guitar Hero, there needs to be some updates on the Fortnite side for this. It is fun and it is good, but it is very rough. My my calibration is still very off because the in-game calibrator is not very well done.
Yeah, when I saw it, obviously I didn't play it, but it seemed like there were some issues being had on pretty simple
Yes.
strumming patterns.
Yes.
And it was just like some kind of a desync going on.
Yeah, it is. And I've got, Seth, what you have seen is better than what it was.
Oh.
So I'm still working on it. There is a, if you watch any streamers of Guitar Hero, there's the one guy that does the insane things that people send him. And he has a video on how he did it. I just haven't had the time to do it. His method included taking a video of watching it and then putting it into iMovie and splitting the sound separate from the frames and like lining it up.
That's
and
wild.
Yeah, but he said that's like the most foolproof way to do it because the way that they have you do it is it just there's so much room for error.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating because I can play Rock Band 4 very easily with their calibrator and it works fine. I don't love I still think that's a little off, but it's great for the most part. The main problem with Rock Band 4 is it's a game that's been abandoned, and so the store doesn't really load, which is very frustrating because I'm willing to give this game my money. Like I've been mentally prepared to go in and spend like $60 on songs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I just can't because the store won't load because it's not being kept up with. Just kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, Rock Band 4 did not come with very good songs. So I've just been playing a lot of songs that I vaguely know and were like either just think sound interesting. So yeah, I would like either A, for Phil Spencer and the people at Microsoft to figure out how to make Guitar Hero 3 backwards compatible on the Xbox 360 or on the Xbox Series X because there are other Xbox 360 games. Or I'm sure the problem with that is there's licensing stuff.
Right.
Or for Epic/Fortnite to update their stuff. Because I think what they're doing is interesting. My other big qualm with the Fortnite thing is that Guitar Hero and Rock Band are very well curated and very well thought out from a track standpoint when you're playing the songs. And because Fortnite is being pushed out at such an aggressive pace and new songs are being pushed out at an aggressive pace, there's not as much care and attention put into like the layout of the notes and stuff. So they're there with the beat, but like they don't necessarily make sense musically and strum pattern wise sometimes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that probably has to do like with the fact that it doesn't seem like they were designed with a guitar controller in mind.
Right. But now it works with it, so they've got to kind of think of that.
Yeah.
I was joking with friend of the show, Chris. He was on the last episode. When I Come Around by Green Day is on there. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of open notes on that song in the track. I don't think Billy Joe Armstrong has ever played an open note in his life. He's only ever played power chords. And so, like, it's just like, funny. That is not what I'm expecting to play. And I, like, that's maybe me. I do not play guitar well. I casually can pick it up and play some things and have fun. But, like, I'm not, like, I can play some chords and, you know, I get by. But, like, I know enough to know that musically what they've put on the track doesn't quite make sense with what the song they're asking you to play is.
Yeah.
And that sort of gets a little finicky, in my opinion, when it comes to the solos, where like they're asking you to do some finger movements in the solos, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense that I would move my fingers that way with what's happening. But fine, sure, whatever. And they have the harmonics people working on this mode, so you would think it would be a little better, but they're working a lot faster too. So yeah, I think the peripheral itself is very nice. My only gripe is that's not the Guitar Hero 2 Explorer, which is the perfect guitar controller for the Xbox 360, and nothing will ever beat it, and I'll never be able to get it again because it wouldn't even work on a Series X anyway.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So
I
yeah,
don't know. There's no no one has created converters to allow you to use them.
for PC, yeah, but I don't think for 360. But really, these games haven't worked on 360 anyway, or worked on Series X anyway. So, but yeah, I've been playing a lot of guitar stuff, the guitar games and Splatoon now. I don't know, I'm kind of like lost gaming right now a little bit. I'm still playing Fortnite because I'm always playing Fortnite. But the one thing that I did do last night for like 4 hours was they have added a full-on Star Wars mode to the Lego Fortnite, and that's pretty rad for May the 4th, to where you're having to build up a rebel camp and go fight stormtroopers and stuff. And Seth, I need to show you guys like a video of it, but the first thing that happens when you boot into Lego Fortnite to showcase that this is happening, a giant Star Destroyer comes through the sky and crash lands. And it's a Lego Star Destroyer. It's really cool. So, whatever they're doing with Lego, it's a fun time. I think that's a good baby's first survival game. And for me, I don't like survival games.
Yeah.
So Lego Fortnite works for me in that aspect. But that's what I've been playing. It's just been that, really. And I'm playing a secret game to the side. I'm not telling anyone about it.
Ooh.
Secret game.
Yeah.
Much like a secret tunnel.
A little bit. I do have all the avatar skins unlocked.
In the secret game?
No, in Fortnite.
Oh.
And
I was about to say, you're just
unlocked-
playing Fortnite then.
Yeah.
I unlocked,
That's
It's not a secret to anyone.
I unlocked
We all know it.
I unlocked the Appa glider, which is great. So, yeah. Gotta love the Fortnite. It makes really rude that for a whole month of a season, I had to go to the Fortnite or the avatar menu and hear a slow, sweet rendition of Leaves on the Vine.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, why did you choose this song of all songs to be?
to hurt
best song.
you.
It is the
Yes,
best, but
but-
it hurts.
It's not fun to listen
Do the
to.
secret tunnel song every once in a while. You can randomize it, please, instead of sweet.
Or yeah, like there's lots of great actual music in the Avatar show.
Yeah.
They could
Nope,
just use that.
they just went for the feels.
Yeah.
And it's
Went
rude.
straight
It's
for the heart on
rude.
that one.
Rude, really. No live action show skins.
That's okay.
It's probably for the best. I didn't watch that yet, so I have no
I
clue
haven't
if
watched
it's
it
good.
either.
I watched a few episodes of it, and I'm baffled by some of the ways they decided to reorder events.
It can't be as good as the One Piece, which we all know that is
was
the
great. That was
definitive
really
One
good.
Piece.
Well, I think that I lost interest in that live action Avatar when they kicked off the two original creators of the show for creative differences, and it's like, how do you have creative differences with the people who made the original show?
Yeah.
They're the creators. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's not even to say that
But
they were probably
yeah.
wanting to stick to their original version of it anyways, because, with hindsight and stuff, you're like, oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
probably would have done this different. So like it baffles me
Yeah,
even more
it's
because of
strange.
that.
It's one of those things I'll probably get around to one day. But I
It's
don't
on
know.
the list.
Yeah. You guys aren't missing much.
Yeah. I mean, if I wanted to interact with it, I'd
Would've
watch
done it
the
by
show
now.
or something.
Yeah.
I will say I hope a lot of people watch it because I do want Netflix to. I think they make a lot of crap, but I do enjoy when they make these insane live action cartoons.
They
'Cause even when they're bad, they're kind of crazy.
they improved it for season 2 and 3. So
And
they
They're all in.
But we've seen with One Piece that they can absolutely hit it out of the park.
oh yeah. I mean, we all
And
know.
of course, who would have thought that they would have done that with One Piece when they have the actual creator of the manga involved in doing it?
Yeah.
But, you
And we all know their
neither
version
here
of
nor there.
Death Note is the definitive adaptation.
That Death Note movie
Listen, it
is
had Lakeith
amazing.
Stanfield in it,
That movie
and Willem Dafoe.
is amazing. It's so funny.
It is funny. I don't think it's a
It's
good
great.
adaptation.
hilarious.
It's a good movie.
It is
but
a
it's-
great movie. Taken if you remove it from the source material.
Yeah.
If you're just like a
Margaret
person,
Qualley was in that too.
just
Oh
a
my
person
God.
who knows that Death Note is a thing and has heard the concept, and if that's the only information that you have about Death Note, it's a perfect watch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It's so dumb and so fun. I know people hate on it, but
It's
I think-
hard. I'll tell you, as someone that watched the anime, it is hard to not hate it if you're holding it up to that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I don't know that I would have been interested in like a straight retelling of the anime, and also don't
No.
think they could have done it in the length of a movie
No,
anyway.
they couldn't
No.
have.
I mean, there's Japanese live action Death Note movies adapting. I'm pretty sure the original series.
Yeah.
Even then, there's like 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, they just take like specific arcs from the manga.
Yeah.
That's what they do. This was just trying to adapt the whole story in
You're-
90 minutes.
You remember when they tried to make Light and what's his name?
L.
No,
Ryuk.
Ryuk be like the overseers of that Shonen Jump fighting game. They weren't
Jump
even.
Force?
Yeah, they weren't even
God.
fighters in it. They were
I didn't know that they were in that.
like the
Everyone's in
overseers
Jump
of
Force.
That's true. That's true.
it. You were in it. You
Yeah.
just don't know. That we talked about that game on the show multiple times,
Yeah.
but I tried playing it a couple times.
It's
It's
bad.
bad.
It's a bad game.
Yeah. But it was the Smash Ultimate of anime fighting games. Everyone was there. So
Yeah.
including Monkey D. Luffy, the One Piece pirate man.
Yeah, he's not the
From
One Piece.
Netflix.
Yeah,
Well, he's-
Netflix is.
He has the
Monkey
One
D.
Piece
Luffy.
inside of him because the One
It was
Piece.
the friends who made a lot
is
Yeah,
the
of
we
friends.
all
money.
know. We all know.
So, all right, Seth, what have you played?
I
Hopefully, the One Piece video game that was on sale this week that I almost got.
is that the.
Yeah, it
I
was,
remember there was like an open world.
Yeah,
One
that's the
Piece
one.
game that looked neat.
yeah, it was on sale this week. I almost got it.
But see, here's the thing. I remember seeing that when it was announced. Be like, this looks interesting, but it's One Piece. So I don't really know about One Piece. I have no interest in playing a One
Maybe
Piece
that
game.
would get you.
But the problem is
interested,
now,
though.
Now.
I've watched the live action and I know 1,000,000% more about One Piece than I ever thought I would.
yeah,
Because like with My Hero and like with Demon Slayer, through watching random YouTube creators, I've just absorbed information about the entirety of the story that I was just like, okay, well, I guess I know all of this
Yeah.
stuff now.
this is in my brain. I
yeah.
can't get rid of it.
Yes. And so now it's something that I would probably enjoy.
I was talking to someone about Star Wars yesterday, and the Death Sticks from Attack of the Clones got brought up. And I was like, oh yeah, that guy's name is Elon Sleazebagano. And someone's like,
His name
Shut
is Elon?
why do you know that? And I'm like,
Sleazebagano?
that it's Sleazebagano. Yeah, it's like, and they're
On
like,
his planet. That
why do you know
referred-
that? And I was
means
like,
Musk.
I wish I didn't know that, but I
But you
It's-
do. You're
yeah.
cursed with this knowledge.
Yeah, I have really rough knowledge, and so now you know that about One Piece. What's up
Yeah.
with the 2 swords, 3 swords? Love
Zoro?
3 swords.
Zoro?
Yeah, he's my favorite.
I mean, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, I want him to be the main character of the
Okay.
show.
I think there are many main characters of the show.
Oh well,
I think everyone is the main character.
No,
For an arc or
I
so.
mean, yeah, that's true. They all get their shine. I would say that the main 3 are the main characters.
well, what did you play?
Oh, so I have been playing. Dave
Oh yeah, I
the
guess we're a
Diver.
video game podcast
Yes.
sometimes.
We're
Dave
talking
the-
about video game adjacent things.
the game that I have tried to play off and on for the last month and a half.
Yeah. Well, it's on PS Plus,
Uh-huh.
which allowed me to download it and give it a try. It's a pretty chill game about you're a diver and you go to this magical blue hole.
Is your name Dave?
Yeah.
Wow.
And in the day you go diving and you fish, and then in the evening you go back to the sushi restaurant and serve up all the fish that you caught to make money, which you can then use to upgrade your suit and your oxygen and the amount of fish you can catch and your harpoon strength, which allows you to dive deeper and catch more fish and discover the secrets of the ancient mermaid race that lives there.
Have gotten nowhere near that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something that I knew was going to be in the game, but it actually happens pretty early. So you really must have bounced off it hard.
Man, I've only done like 3 dives and I've ran out of air so fast. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating at the beginning, and basically every time you get to like a lower strata, like I'm always dying really a bunch of times before I get the hang of what's going on. So yeah, that is frustrating. But I found it to be a fun, chill game. It's weird. I think that for me, the gameplay, I think I would be more engaged in it if I was playing it on Switch. But I think that the atmosphere works better on the big screen, because even though it's like, Dave is pixelated, it having the whole underwater seascape on the screen and with the sounds playing, it really helps me slide into a kind of zen mode when I'm playing it, that I've found to be really enjoyable.
I can imagine that, because playing on the Switch
you-
screen, I just disengage really
Right, it's
quickly.
definitely gameplay that is well suited for what the Switch offers you in handheld. But I do think part of the reason I've liked it so much is having it on full screen and being immersed in the sounds of the deep. And also, I don't know if it's good or not, but a lot of the sound effects come out of the PlayStation controller.
That is the worst gimmick in the world.
Yeah, it's frustrating in some parts, but in other parts it's kind of enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's not fun when you hold down the left trigger to swim fast and there's just this constant sound of bubbling that it makes. So some of it I don't like, but I do. But in some cases I like it.
Does your controller ever squirt water at you?
No,
Like a
it does
3D
not.
movie
It
theater?
doesn't.
Like,
It should. There's also a lot of tough boss battles in the game.
okay.
Against super enormous fish. Like there was a gigantic hermit
Real
crab
big fish.
who his shell was a dump truck. Yeah, and they're all pretty tough. I mean, they're all simple because you're just swimming around and you've got a gun and a harpoon,
Yeah.
and you don't really have skills or anything to be able to dodge stuff. But they've all been pretty fun, and uncovering the mysteries of the sea race is interesting. And there's this sort of the sea shepherd type people, if we remember Whale Wars.
Yeah.
But in this, they attack you, and actually try to kill you. but also you find out that they are secretly hunting dolphins and selling them, and so that's kind of fun. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's a pretty chill game, and it's nice finding all the different fish, collecting them all, and making the sushi and getting to know all the characters has been pretty enjoyable.
Did you have you seen any of the was the Dredge DLC free? Have you seen anything from Dredge in there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Um,
Man,
yeah, I don't know.
Dredge really clicked with me. I feel like people probably either clicked with Dredge or Dave the Diver, and Dredge was the one that clicked for me.
Yeah, I at some point want to go back and start Dredge up again, because I played it for like an hour, and I was like, this is interesting, and then turned it off and like never picked it up again.
I definitely drew my gameplay out.
Yeah.
I did a lot of extra stuff. But it could be done in probably like 4 hours.
Yeah. But no, I don't think that I have seen anything from that. I know there are a lot of terrors in the deep in that game, and I haven't really come across anything quite like that.
Not even Godzilla.
No
No
Lovecraftian
Godzilla
horrors.
yet. I did have to fight a great white shark named Klaus.
Ah,
It was very tough.
sounds German.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he got beat. An old lady jumped in the water and punched him in the face and knocked him out.
As
Okay.
old
Killed him,
ladies-
actually.
as old
because
ladies are
then I
wont
was
to
able to
do.
harvest his meat.
Oh God.
Yep.
Sounds like a strong old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are
She
you
was-
not
he's
going
scared
in
of
the
water.
Seeking
water?
revenge for her husband that the shark killed.
Why are you not going in the water as her instead of this Dave the
Dave
Diver?
guy.
I don't know.
She's able to punch sharks to death.
Yeah. But she gave me her magical shark tooth necklace that makes her stronger, so...
You should,
There you
like Watch Dogs Legion style, take control of her and go into the water as her.
Yeah.
Well, after
gotta recruit her,
we
but,
beat the
you know.
great white shark, she just sort of paddled away on her makeshift raft, never to be seen again. Yeah, she showed up on like a literal like
She's going to
a
the
log
Grand
raft.
Line.
Yeah.
like with a big pole.
You know, I
I'd
really
never seen
hope
her before.
I really hope that she pops up multiple times in your playthrough of this, just with like each different family member that she had.
No,
That
she-
would
She's
be good.
killed by
I mean, most of the
other-
characters that I've encountered have popped up multiple times, so it wouldn't be a surprise to see her again.
she's off to be the Pirate King.
Yeah.
And she's,
Yeah, she's gonna go beat up the fishmen.
yeah.
Who are already oppressed by the
Yeah, she's the
Regular
One
guy.
Punch Man of the One Punch
Yes.
Grandma of
One Piece.
Of One Piece.
Yeah.
yes.
That's crazy though. That's
Yeah, it was really funny.
I would have never guessed that this game had that much story in it because I
Same. It looked very
Genuinely-
simplistic.
yeah, I mean it is. But you know it's not like super deep, except for the
Diving.
depth of the water,
of course.
But yeah, it's been an enjoyable little jaunt for me.
Nice.
There's another game I have been playing that I will withhold comments on for now.
So many secret games tonight.
I've been playing it on Switch, and I only wanted to bring it up because, so I was playing it the other day, and I had this thought. I was like, man, I'm really sick of hearing the same voice actors in every JRPG all the time, because it's just like,
Oh, so he's playing Iodine Chronicles.
it's not that.
No, I
But it's
played
just
that on the
It's
Xbox.
just like constant. You always just like hearing the same voices, and this like the people are good at their job for sure. That's why they keep getting hired. But you know, it's kind of frustrating hearing all the same voices that we hear all the time. And
Yeah.
then the other day I was forced to listen to an episode of X-Men '97. And I was like, you know what? I retract my complaints about the voice acting in that game after hearing the voice acting in this show, which is just...
What do you have
it's
against it?
It was... First of all, I thought it was bad. But also, and it's hard to remove the badness from the melodrama of what was going on, but
yeah.
because, you know, if I think the lines are really stupid and over the top, then I'm not gonna. There's not gonna be any kind of performance that is going to make me reverse my thought of that. But
Yeah.
man, I was just like listening to it. Ugh. And Scott was like, "Do you love me, Gene, or do you love the memory of me?" And I was like, "Oh my god,
God, it's so good.
This is the worst thing I've heard ever."
No.
And I had to leave the room.
It's about the melodrama.
I don't like it. I did not like, and the performances I just thought were really bad.
No X-Men media property has captured the melodrama of the mutants this well, literally ever. It's wonderful.
Maybe they could have used a couple more takes in the recording booth, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so yeah, I kind of after that I was like, I guess I can appreciate these voice actors a little bit.
So, breaking news really quick between this. No wonder Nintendo got ahead of the cart, or ahead of the 8-ball, whatever the saying is.
Ahead of the curve.
Manufacturing details have leaked because, of course, this thing is being made.
Okay.
And it is...
Let's save that for the news.
I don't even think yeah, we could do that.
Or at least until after Forrest tells us what he's been playing.
Yeah.
What were you playing, Forrest?
Of course, I beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Of
I don't know if
Of
that's
course.
of course. But
yeah,
Listen, last time I talked to you guys on the show about it, I said I'm gonna have it beat by the next time I'm on here.
That is
and
true.
I beat it a week and a half ago at this point. So,
all right, what do you think happened at the end?
well,
dude, I was
I feel like we should talk about that after the news. Why? The people should just know that Forrest beat it, and then we
That's
can.
fine. That's fine.
Because I feel like that is.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
big stuff.
that's fair.
That's gonna keep us here
fair.
another hour.
We could do our brief news section and
Yeah.
then tell people to turn off the show, and then
do
yeah.
more spoiler talk.
I guess. I just don't know how much I want to talk about it again.
That's
Well,
fair.
but
Well,
you
we can
asked
keep it
them-
off the air.
Yes, I did ask it. I will instead ask, how did you feel about the ending?
I was really confused for a quick few minutes.
Yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't because it's nonsense.
Yeah, a little bit. But now, getting past that bit of confusion, though, I really am really looking forward to what the next game is gonna bring. Specifically in regards to the status quo shift now with. How much am I allowed to say? I know you guys did the spoiler cast last week, but the way that the party is going to interact with each other in the next game,
Sure.
I think is definitely not what I thought it was going to be. And that has me really pumped and excited. But also, this game did not end how I thought it was going to. You know?
Yeah, that's
Great game,
That's
though.
fair.
I loved
I
it.
don't think it ended the way anyone
Yeah.
thought it was going to.
Yeah.
I don't think the developers put much thought
Also,
into how
no.
it was going to end.
Hey, that's quite possible. But I loved it, though, through and through.
Okay, but the more important question, did you give Queen's Blood a chance?
Oh, no, I didn't have time.
What a shame.
I almost did 5 separate times though, because I kept coming across people that I'm like, I can play a dog in Queen's Blood, man.
Yeah, you
that's
can play a
crazy. I
dog.
want to do that. So maybe if I ever get the time, I'll go back and do some of that stuff. Or if New Game Plus is the thing already in it.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Maybe I'll do that one day. But know that I don't hate Queen's Blood anymore.
Okay, that's good.
I'm a convert.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had to do some at the Gold Saucer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you came around.
Yeah.
That was the most important thing.
Character.
You know,
growth.
I had this thought about Rebirth the other day that I really wanted to bring up, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it is.
Was it that chapter 13 is the most annoyingly long chapter in the entire game.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you where chapter 13 began and ended because I think I was just kind of zoned in
Yeah,
toward
just
the
going
end of
right
that game.
through.
Like, all right, I'm finishing this thing right
Yeah,
now.
that's
I
fair.
think 12, 13, and 14 all run
They
together.
all just kind of blur
Because
together
I
in my
think I
mind.
played them straight through.
I don't remember what 12 is.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
12 is the date.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How could
oh
I
yeah, who'd
forget?
you date?
Who do you think?
Tifa.
Yes, sir.
My date was Aerithon. Is the right one.
It could be. It's hard to know.
Yeah.
The actual things that happen in the date make you think that okay, Tifa's the right one here, but then the ending makes you go, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's
the dynamics of
it's
this
like
are
the
kind of
entire
strange.
time it can't, the game itself cannot decide.
Yeah.
Um
The coward developers.
Yeah.
They wanted to have their cake and eat it too.
yeah.
Can't decide if Aerith dies. Can't decide who Cloud wants to date.
Can't decide if Zack dies.
Yep.
I mean, they decided he did it.
That's fair.
True.
Decided.
Unclear in what form. Like, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It doesn't matter.
exactly.
I don't think most of these questions are going to be answered in the last one. Anyway.
No, not at all.
I think this was a question. What do we think rebirth means? Like, why was that the subtitle? Like, it was clear why remake was the subtitle.
Yeah.
Because they were remaking the world.
I think
Because I don't think anything that happens in the game has anything to do with a rebirth.
I think it probably just has to come because, like, birth is what comes after being made, like, as a life. You know, like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Birth by sleep.
I would
So
imagine
true.
that rebirth is probably something to do with Sephiroth trying to start the planet over, sort of thing. That's the only thing I would think of. Because this is the game where all of that sort of comes to the forefront. Is
Yeah.
that Sephiroth is trying to wipe this one out to start new, the birth of a new planet, type of thing. And that's me stretching. Like, but that's the only thing I could think.
Yeah. It's certainly not a thing that is made explicit within the
It is with the
game.
black materia.
No,
They
I just
said-
mean
the
like the
subtitle
the,
of
yeah, the
Rebirth
concept
in
of
Gotcha.
rebirth.
in regards to the game and story as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I played that. Been playing some Tekken 8 lately. That game's a blast. Really easy to pick up. I spent a few good
I hope all
hours.
games are easy to pick up.
Yeah, fair. Well, you know, fighting games are either
Notoriously
you like them
heavy.
or you don't.
They're
Let's talk
very
about
thick
physically.
discs. Very hard to pick up.
Oh
They're
yeah.
made out of tungsten.
It is
God.
like near impossible to pick up digital games, though.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The closest thing you could do is pick up your console, I guess, or if
Yeah,
you have
that's
it
true.
into like a
That's
separate
true. Makes it
connected
pretty
hard
easy,
drive.
A
actually.
flash drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's real easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real easy. Pick up so many games in that at once.
You don't even
yeah.
know. I can pick up so many games.
But yeah, Tekken 8 is a blast. Our Best Buy had it on sale for some reason the
Yeah,
other
because
week.
they don't want discs in there. So
Yeah, well,
it's-
I won on that transaction then because that game just came out like 2 weeks prior, and I got it for $50, which is not bad.
I think
for
Tekken
a-
8's been out for a while.
No, it just came. I mean, like by the time I got it, it had been out for like maybe a month tops. But that game just like fully came out pretty recently.
Yeah, he's not saying he bought it like this week.
No, yeah, I've had this for a few weeks at this point.
Tekken 8 came out January 26th.
You know,
Okay,
2 months.
well, yeah, a few months. Well, I got it
That's-
last month. I don't know,
yeah,
math.
maybe it's been a bit.
Let's say I think that's quick enough for a game like that to be on sale. Fighting games love to go on sale.
Yes, true. They are
They want people to play.
great at it. They're some of my favorite games to go on sale. And then
Personally, I don't discriminate against types of games that are on sale. Any game on sale to me is a good sale.
So true. And then I've been playing Grease That one.
Grease?
Yeah, that one indie game from a few years back.
Yes, GRIS.
That's
Yes.
Gree.
No, it's Spanish, so it is Greece,
Oh, okay.
which is gray.
Tekken 8's on sale for $20 off right now.
Dang it!
What did you get off? $10 off?
Wait, what's the base price of it?
70.
Oh yeah. Then
So
I got
that's
it
what I
20
got.
off. Yeah,
It's
I was
50.
good. Yeah, I
It's
got it for
50,
50.
That's pretty good. If that's what the sale is now, and
Yeah.
that's what he got it.
Yeah.
I'm golden, baby. But yeah, I've been
You
playing
are a
those.
golden baby.
Marianne played
I've
that.
often said it.
It's a good game. I
Yeah,
like
she
it a lot.
liked it.
I got red, blue, and green back into the world. I don't know how much I have
Pokemon?
left.
That means something.
Uh,
I'm assuming. Are you playing the Saboteur? Are you
Dude.
injecting color back into the world?
Yes, that is the point of Greece. Because like the game starts and like everything is like washed out and like
Or D-Blob? D-Blob.
the
also did
blob.
that.
Yeah, is it D blob or
D-Blob.
da blob?
I think it's D.
I think it's da blob.
It is D.
I think it's D.
You're not D blobbing.
But I feel like that's how they said it. Like D.
I swear to God, it was like the.
I keep interrupting you with sides.
Yeah,
no,
I mean
it's
it
okay.
is the. But I think it's D blob.
That's gonna bother me if it is D blob. That just doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right. I'll give it to you.
And then
Just like X gonna give it to you.
So true. And then I played a few minutes of Another Crab's Treasure since that just came out last week, and then I got like 5 minutes in it, and then I had to go and do something, and I haven't had the chance to get back to it since. But yeah, I've been playing. Really been trying to play as much as I can on smaller scale stuff since beating Rebirth.
Sure.
That has been kind of the goal. Also, a few weeks ago, I got Armored Core 6 on sale for $30.
Ooh,
I have a PS5
I've
copy
been wanting
if
to
you would
play
like.
it. I would like to play it.
Yeah, because I accidentally ordered both a PS5 and an Xbox copy because I was so busy and I
stinks.
forgot that I ordered one of them, and I could still return it, but at this point it's like I don't know, I could do something with this, give it to someone.
You could take it to never mind. I forgot the name of the place. There's a retro game store in town that
Yeah,
I was in there a couple weeks ago with my nephew.
is that the one over in Six Gun?
Yeah.
More Than Games.
And the guy specifically said when he was calculating the value, he says, "I look up on GameStop's website what they're offering, and I just offer more." And I was like, "Well, that's neat.
Hey.
That's good to know."
He's a chill guy from my experience. Yeah. I did think of like, oh, I'll just bring this extra copy over there.
Yeah.
But if you would like to play it,
I would like to play it.
yeah, it's yours.
Just walk it over to my house.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys would like to know a little more about the Blob,
Here we go.
I love that you're saying the blob.
D-Blob was,
I got you.
You rat.
at the time of conception, sections of Utrecht were being rebuilt, and the principal task in creating the game was to convey how the railroad station would look in 10 years. The city of Utrecht adopted Blob, the D-Blob's protagonist, as its mascot.
Awesome.
So the city in the Netherlands.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So there was a Dutch version called D-Blob and an English version called The Blob. And then they just decided to make it D-Blob in America also.
Das Blob in German.
Yeah, so there you go.
L blob.
It's got an 81.12
Yeah, it's a good
on,
game.
Game rankings. 82 on Metacritic. Good for you, DeBlob.
Isn't there? It got a sequel too.
Yeah.
It did.
And didn't it get remastered recently?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so.
It did add a Switch port on, June 26, 2018.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I mean,
but
that's recently compared to
Yeah.
when it came out.
Yeah.
originally.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
Shouts out to D Blob.
Gotta love the blob.
There's an iOS adaptation too, so you can play it on your phone.
Yeah.
You know.
No thanks. I'm too busy playing
Pokemon.
Poke Rogue. I should say that throughout this whole podcast, I've been playing Poke Rogue,
Yeah.
which is another thing I've been playing. It's browser based. Anyone can play it.
I thought you were doing this on your emulator.
Nope. It's a online free Pokemon roguelike.
I have been playing Onimusha Tactics on my on my
Nice.
emulator, so
Good man.
Yes.
because Onimusha Tactics is a god tier video game.
There's been a couple times I've tried to go back. I still can't get past that first level on Rhythm Heaven on my phone. It's infuriating.
I got it
Some
downloaded
games
on
are-
the iPad. I haven't tried that yet.
And
me
I played
neither.
a bit of Pokemon
I'll do
Ranger,
that later.
drawing
tonight.
those circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pokemon Ranger.
I don't know if I told you this, but a few years back I tried getting all of the Ranger games, and I think I have like
Yeah.
2 of them now.
Nice.
But I'm still missing the third.
I think I have the third up in my attic.
We could complete the set.
Yeah, we could.
Man. That's the perfect story.
Yeah, I
It really
remember.
is.
I think it was the second one that you could get Deoxys in and transfer him to, or it might have been Darkrai. It was one of the only ways at the time of getting one of the mythical Pokemon.
Oh, like how in the first one it was with Manaphy.
Yeah, with Manaphy.
Yeah. That's the whole reason I played the first one.
Yeah, and I remember never doing it, and I don't know why.
We can change that.
I did finally
I do also have Heart Gold, Soul Silver, so I do have a game that
To
you can
transfer it to. Yeah, same.
I finally completed the mission in Pokemon Go to get Shaman.
Nice.
And so
Nice.
now I have a Shaman to switch over to the video game. The next Pokemon game comes out.
Yes,
I mean, you can
sir.
get Shaman and Arceus.
Yeah, but I traded that in, and
That's
because
fair.
I just know I'm never going to go back to it.
Yeah, I got it digitally because why was it? Because I couldn't. I think I was
You
going.
couldn't get a copy.
Yeah,
It was sold out.
yeah. That
What?
was frustrating.
Yeah. It was one of those games where there was just like no physical copies.
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
it's not like Nintendo games. Like
it
genuinely,
was crazy for it being a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But mostly like Nintendo games. Like if you want a physical copy of it, you
gotta
need to pre-order
be
it.
there, yeah.
Unless it's got Mario on the cover. Like I remember like what's burned in my brain forever is that I pre-ordered a copy of Pokemon Conquest at the GameStop I worked at.
Man.
And we got sent less than the copies that were pre-ordered, and we never really got restocked. We got like one in at a time maybe.
That sucks.
And so like
I'm glad I still have that game too.
yeah,
Good.
it is burned in me to pre-order Nintendo games unless I'm buying them digitally, which I mostly do now, just because that pass thing is such a good deal, like the voucher.
the
thing.
voucher.
Yeah.
The
sure.
voucher.
I end up saving $50 or $20. So
And we love saving money on games.
Yeah.
I truly do.
There's nothing better than that.
And so do game companies.
Yeah. They like saving money on games in multiple
In
ways.
a different way.
Yeah.
Making-
in a bit of a different way.
Even if they want to make money with games, they like to try to save money with games. We're hitting another patch of a bunch of layoffs everywhere.
Yes.
It's not. Microsoft is the biggest offender right now, but there has been multiple other studios that have shut down. Seth, I don't know if we talked about on this show, but the studio behind the game you just beat got
Deep
shut
Blob?
down. No, the
Final
magic
Fantasy
one.
VII Rebirth.
The magic one.
Yeah, we talked about that. That was
Well,
a big bummer.
So their studio got shut down. Square Enix announced they're probably going to eventually cut some people because they posted a net loss of like $140 million.
Maybe they should stop investing in stupid trend.
Yeah, it's
Chasing
weird.
crap.
It
Theirs
happens
was
for different reasons.
theirs was my frustration. They had too high of expectations with Rebirth.
Yeah.
Because they
The install
remakes
base
said-
is not
Look,
the
I
same
think
as
that
remakes, which is ugh.
Square Enix as a company, I think, has had too high expectations for like all of their recent releases.
Yes, that's a big one.
And of course, there is a thing where their CEO is wanting to invest in the
Stupid
blockchain
things.
and AI and all of this stuff that is not
Foolish man.
bringing money back in and is also not helping in the actual games department.
Right.
It's tough. The reason it's being brought up is because yesterday or the day
Yesterday.
before,
It was yesterday.
Microsoft shut down, I think, 3 of its subsidiaries that it acquired with Activision,
Yeah.
And Bethesda.
and then absorbed one of the other studios into another studio.
No, it was all Bethesda. It wasn't Activision.
Well, yeah, but yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Those are different. I forgot those are different things. But I'm thinking of Activision because when they acquired Activision, they were like, we're not going to lay people off with this, which then they immediately did and did again.
Yeah, corporations are going to lie to you.
And yeah, then they have done it again.
I'm laughing because it's sad.
And
I
it
don't-
hurts, and it hits pretty
There's
hard
no
at
other
this
reaction
one.
to have.
Because one of the studios, Tango,
Xbox's only Japanese studio.
yes, they've talked a lot about wanting to have really good Japanese studios to attract to get a bigger foothold in Japan, and then they get one, and that studio then goes on to create an acclaimed award-winning game that was
Xbox
one of their.
and its executives had said
They all said it was great and that
Yep.
it was hitting targets.
exceeded
It seems like they were
expectations in
probably
some
lying
cases.
about that.
It either was hitting targets at the time and then stopped hitting targets, or was never hitting targets.
Yeah.
And there's really no telling what the way corporate speak works.
Right, but
Which is
what we know
frustrating.
is that publicly they were saying that they were super excited about it,
Right.
and about the company. And yeah, so that happened, and the reward they got was the whole studio getting shut down after pitching a sequel and wanting to get more staff to work on that game. Which is apparently the reason why they were the ones cut. That and Arcane Austin was another one. Who, they had the big Redfall flop, which you could expect after. It's less surprising for them to close, even though the leadership has said that Redfall flopping had nothing to do with their decision, which is strange.
yeah.
But they also, they were working on DLC for it, which is now canceled. They were working on a single player mode for Redfall, which is now not going to happen. And apparently they also were pitching a new, first person. I think it was potentially a new Dishonored game,
Yeah.
and also trying to get more staff. And that was the reason they were slashed. So who would have thought that they want to make games, and so they need more people to work on those games, and instead
They don't get to work
don't
on those games.
exist anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people did, but I know that Arcane Austin was the one that was kind of folded,
Yeah.
partially at least, to other parts of Bethesda to work, I think, on Fallout 76. That was the report I saw.
It was really frustrating. In the
And
leaked
then-
email is that a lot of them are being closed to. It was something about shifting priorities to higher impact titles, which reads that they're just trying to work more on blockbusters and sequels.
Yeah.
So that I swear
Pre-existing
on everything
IP.
that I am not validating these terrible decisions and that these people were right to lose. I do not think. I think that genuinely this is terrible, and that they should not have done this, and they should have probably diversified the IP from Activision among these teams and found ways to have them make games that would give Xbox content
I don't
down
think
the line.
I don't think that I don't know what you're going to say. I think this is inevitable with any studio that Microsoft is going to acquire
Yeah,
because the stock price has to continually grow. That's like
right. That is the bottom.
that's sort
line.
of at the top of it is that there always has to be growth for shareholders, and the easiest way to do that is to cut a bunch of staff to make fake growth in the stock price. And I think that as time goes on, it won't ever really matter how successful they do, because any amount of success that they have to increase the stock price is just setting a new bar that has to then be crossed.
Well, yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Which
That's
will
the
then
terrible.
be crossed with layoffs.
That's the terrible part of business.
And so,
Right.
I mean, it's a terrible part about publicly owned businesses.
Yeah.
But also, it doesn't even really have to be that, because they also have huge executives with huge salaries at the top.
Right.
So if it was a money issue,
Yeah,
you know,
and
there
they're
are
also
things
the
that
ones
could have been
choosing
done.
to just continually get bigger with no, without really even considering what that means for the reality of the company. In general, people say that layoffs are a product of mismanagement, and I think that this is sort of squarely on Phil Spencer's head,
Yeah.
who went after these big acquisitions to improve the Game Pass offerings. And I don't really know that. Up till now, it really hasn't been all that great anyway. I mean, Hi-Fi Rush was kind of
a standout.
the gold star among their acquisitions of what these acquisitions produced, and now their company is gone.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's very disheartening. I remember a couple months ago seeing people on Twitter talk about the potential, like, whether the games as an industry is in a crash or is going to crash.
Oh, I think it's gonna crash.
Yeah, I think there's no way out of it, because the big companies are only producing bigger games with bigger budgets that take longer to make, and which do not bring in the amount of revenue in order to keep those businesses going. It's just like it's a recipe for disaster. I think there are. I'm not going to say Nintendo is crash proof, but I think that their business model is so much different.
Yeah. They're in their own.
But I'm also worried
Industry
because
kind of.
they like, so, it was going around this week how the Switch era's profits were like greater than the Wii and the DS era combined. Like, it's
No, it's you. The Switch era's profits is greater than
the
their
entirety.
entirety of their company combined since the Switch came out.
Jesus.
And so even that is like,
The entirety of the company.
we've seen in the past like weird shareholder comments from Nintendo shareholder meetings, and it's clear they have people invested that don't really understand video games or the nature of the industry, and that's like another thing that worries me, because there's 0% chance that whatever the Switch's successor is going to be as successful. Because it's just like they set such a high bar for what it was that there isn't another step to create this huge next must-have console. I think the Switch 2 will do fine, but it's one of those things, like, down the line you worry, because like you go from these record profits year over year, and then it's going to go down eventually. And what is that going to look like when it comes to the actual people who are making the games. When Satoru Iwata was the president, there's this, big. We all know the history about how he slashed his own salary, or was it Miyamoto? I don't know.
It was Iwata.
But he slashed his own salary in order to not have to cut parts of the company. And that was, he was able to make that decision because he saw what they had ahead of them and the stuff that was being made, and he wanted to keep those. He wanted to make sure the people who were working were secure in their job, and so that they could finish those projects they were working on. Because he saw on the other side there was, it was going to be much better in the future. I don't know that you could say that about Xbox. But yeah, so I don't know. I think, like I said, I'm not going to say Nintendo's crash-proof, but I do think they have sort of a different. They're working in a different kind of space. So I don't know, but I think they're AAA video games at large are coming up to a sort of a reckoning point where it's just going to be like, okay, we can't sustain this, and I think more companies are going to fail. Yeah. And I think a lot of it will be at the hands of Xbox and Sony trying to gobble up everything they can.
Well, yeah, that's there's so many weird dominoes that lead to this happening, and oddly enough, Starfield is the nexus of that at the end of the day, because the reason Microsoft buys Bethesda is because Sony tried to buy the exclusivity of Starfield and was going to.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft was like, well, we make that easy. We'll give you security. Sony will give you short-term security. We'll sell you
we'll promise you long-term security.
We'll promise you long-term security. And they have delivered that for mainline Bethesda.
Yeah. The people at the top, sure.
The people at the top. But lower Bethesda, Tango, stuff like that, obviously. And so Bethesda went with that. Whether or not that was, I don't know the ins and outs of that, but that is, it's the exclusivity crap is what is really hurting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's
in this case, it's the weird tipping point.
Yes, that's true.
Because now what's happening at the end of the day is that Microsoft is getting frustrated that Bethesda can't push stuff out at a reasonable pace because they've never been able to.
Yeah. And now they're only working with
But I'm sure
Microsoft
right. I'm sure that Microsoft figured that they just didn't know, they just weren't managed correctly before. Right. And now they're realizing, well,
yeah, again, it's just it feels like this stuff is not, it seems so obvious, especially in hindsight, but it seems like you could look at a company like Bethesda, who takes forever to make their games, and which the games aren't even, finished when they ship them. And to see the trends around the gaming industry at large as games are getting bigger and bigger and taking longer and longer to make, that it's going to take them forever to make the games that they already take forever to make because they make them as big as possible. It's just was this not, did you not put 2 and 2 together here, Phil Spencer? Or did you just see Bethesda is a big name, we want Starfield.
He saw what Skyrim sold.
Right.
And the promise of Starfield was that this was going to be the sci-fi answer of Skyrim.
But the thing is, it's also so... The problem
and that's
with
also the promise that
Game
Sony
Pass
saw.
Is counterproductive to that.
Yeah, no,
they have a... This is what I think that they're going... I think they're not going to put Call of Duty on Game Pass.
I think that would be a massive misstep, but
Yes, but
well,
it would bring in more money.
I don't think it would. I think more people would bristle against that than you think would.
I think there are so many people.
no.
There's a section of people who play games that only play Call of Duty and are like not invested in,
Like the larger industry as a
Yeah.
whole, pretty much.
and especially if it's not on PlayStation. I mean, it's people are going. I think it's also going to be on PlayStation.
Well, yeah, it's not going to be
Yeah.
exclusive. They can't. They sign whatever.
But I think that, I mean, I think it'll be a hard decision to justify in the media. But I think it's like they're going to look at and see all of these sales that they're not going to have by it being on Game Pass, and just say, well, this is one of the exempt games because it's also on PlayStation.
I think it might be cheaper on Xbox. I'll give it that.
I don't think so.
I think it'd be like
I think
a
they'll
30
sell it at
dollar.
full price and laugh all the way to the bank.
yeah.
I think that there's a world where that happens. I don't. I think they care more about the subscription numbers than they do the sales, if they're still getting the sales money from Switch and Sony.
I mean,
I think in a couple of years ago that might have been the thought process, but that was before they had to lay off like 4,000 employees.
Yes.
and listen, there are games that do really well on Game Pass, but I mean, going back to Hi-Fi Rush, you can have these games that do well on there, but that's not equating to sales numbers,
Right.
You know?
Well, yeah, that's
Like,
generally,
but
they
is-
say
but
that.
that was their-
making money.
Yeah, I know that, but that's their reasoning. Is that like, and this you're presenting this to where I'm feeling like I'm having to defend a company's crappy decision, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying that like their reasoning is that Game Pass subscribers did not go up by X because of Hi-Fi Rush. We only maintained subscribers. It's crappy. The idea is that they have to grow Game Pass subscribers. That is what their model of hope is. They want Game Pass to be Planet Fitness for gaming. It's cheap enough that you forget you're subscribed to it, you
Yeah.
keep going. Like, and so, no offense, I like Hi-Fi Rush. It is a 6 to 8 hour game that is not, like, people aren't going to scream, I've got to go to Game Pass to play that. Because at the end of the day, we love indie games. I will play all of them. That's not going to get the guy 3 apartments down that only plays Fortnite and Warzone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, their hope for Call of Duty is that it's going to X the subscribers by that much, and then those people will just blindly keep subscribing, because instead of paying the $60 for Call of Duty, they'll just pay the whole year for the access to their Call of Duty fix.
It's possible.
And I'm not, and I still don't think, I'm saying this emphatically, I don't think that's good. It is annoying and bad, but that is
I don't know, it
what
sounds
their
like you think it's
mindset
good.
is. Well, I think that you can look at something and say, this is bad, but this is why, this is the thinking.
Yeah, but I don't
behind it.
think the thinking
It's
matters
not
when it's a
validating
bad
it.
decision. Like, you can point to all of the reasons of why it is happening, but I don't think there's a point in dwelling on it if what they are doing doesn't make any, like, if it only makes sense to them within the building, like, and outside of that everyone is seeing it as a bad decision. Like, I don't think there's any, like, benefit in looking at why Microsoft would do this. Like,
But do you, like, at the end of the day, do you think Bethesda would have made this sort of decision had Redfall come down on them when they were by themselves? Like, that's the other hard thing. Like, Redfall was wildly crash.
I almost
Like,
don't know if Redfall would have existed in the form that it did if Bethesda was still independent when it
Well,
came
Microsoft was hands off with Redfall. That was the
Sure.
No,
I mean,
that's-
sure. That's what
The-
can be said. But like,
because they were
But that-
pretty open that their frustration was that, well, we we didn't intervene enough in Redfall's case.
The thing is, though, Redfall is completely unlike any game that Bethesda and ZeniMax Studios as a whole have pretty much ever put out. I think part of that could potentially be because of Microsoft's influence.
Like, it's possible that game gets greenlit because they are backed by Microsoft.
Yeah. You don't have the studio that made Prey do a multiplayer
but also, I don't think
Left 4 Dead shooter type game.
I don't think I don't think it's super abnormal that a studio goes out of its comfort zone to try and make a new game, and then it flops really hard, and then the studio flops because of that.
I mean, it just happened with the Wizard game.
Yeah. What Wizard game?
The one I cannot remember the name.
Oh, Immortals of Avium.
Yes, that's the game.
Except that game is amazing.
Yes, I understand.
And it just released at a really bad time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad. But I don't think that if Tango was still under Bethesda and they come out with this game that everyone loves and gets critical acclaim, I don't think Tango is being shut down.
I don't think they make Hi-Fi Rush unless they're on Game Pass.
No.
Unless they're under Microsoft.
I don't think so.
Because it's the same thing with Pentiment. Like that.
I don't know.
The guy that made Pentiment said...
It sounded like that was a game that they had the idea of back when they were making Evil Within.
Yeah.
It's possible.
So I don't know. Like, it's hard
I
to
may
know.
be conflating because I know the guy that made Pentiment. He did an interview with Remap where he said, the only reason I was able to make this game is because I went to Matt Booty and said, I have this idea and I think it'd be good. And they were like, yeah, go do it.
Yeah. But I mean, that is what, like, the promise of Game Pass is that there is a space for people to be able to put out these smaller games on and not have to worry about the sales and stuff like that.
Which is the hope. That is,
but that's like not what it has been turning into.
No.
Yeah.
It's been turning into, okay, we have to put out these huge blockbusters, and then there are these huge gaps in the schedule.
And why? And what is the incentive for Microsoft to invest in a Japanese studio when they can just pay
Obsidian
Capcom
to make their fifth
no,
game
not
this
Obsidian.
year?
I'm saying when they can license Capcom to make an exclusive game to put on Game Pass and hope that that one works, and it's cheaper because they're not paying to develop it. Like it's a weird situation where they spent a lot of money on studios and instead are paying for Game Pass games now.
Yeah, they didn't. Well, that's the thing. They didn't have to buy the studios. They shouldn't have bought the studios.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was a net loss for all of gaming when Microsoft bought Bethesda and then bought Activision. I mean, Activision was a horrible company.
I don't
run
think
by a horrible man.
I don't think they would have bought Bethesda if they thought they could have bought Activision. In my opinion, I don't think if in the world where Phil Spencer realizes it's possible to buy Activision,
yeah,
I don't think
Bethesda stays independent.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm not saying that like being this. I think that genuinely Bethesda.
Right, it's a much bigger acquisition.
Yeah, the Activision get was the goal, probably, very likely, and then everything else was kind of either ancillary or a stepping stone to that.
And really, Bethesda and this, like, I'm not saying this in any way. Bethesda games underperforming probably, or at least it helped push the pedal of them thinking to buy more things.
That the immediate Bethesda releases after becoming part of Game Pass were all kind of like, these aren't really good games.
And I actually don't. I think Starfield would have ended up the same regardless of who owned them.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but I think it would have sold a lot more if it was.
Yeah, but we also don't know the Game Pass numbers of people that subscribed or whatever, and what metric of that is success. Like that's the other frustrating
It's
thing.
like
that
it's all in a black box.
Yeah, there's no way to know. It's the same issue with Netflix, where like Netflix is like we don't know if what we're doing is good because it's
yeah
Netflix. Like
We won't give you the numbers.
We won't give you the numbers.
We'll just
I'm
either
not sure
renew
if-
you or not.
and I'm not sure if they know the numbers. Like it, and like I said, at the end of the day, I wish these studios were still around to make games.
And let's not forget that Microsoft just became the second company ever to have a $3 trillion market cap.
Yeah, these people make
So it's not as if they're losing money.
right. They make the operating system that runs the world.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. It is annoying.
I think they
and
should
bad.
fold. I think gaming would be better if there were no more Microsoft in it.
Sega needs to fill their place.
Well,
And they
I
can
don't
they can
know
do
about
what
that.
Xbox don't.
Yeah.
They
Get
do
the
have the objectively
Dreamcast
better
2,
controller.
baby.
They have the objectively better controller and the better operating system on the console. So
Xbox?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought you meant like Sega did it. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
was
what are
sure
you
that-
talking
what
about, dude?
controller?
Like the Xbox
Are we
controller
talking
is
about
like
the
the
Dreamcast
best
controller?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
I mean, yeah, they do have the VMU, and that is
Really cool.
unparalleled. But I don't know if I would call it the best controller.
Yeah. I also don't know if I'd consider it the best operating system.
I don't even know if it is an
I
operating
don't
system.
know if it really has one.
But like Seth said, it is frustrating that Microsoft is going after these monolithic games at the same time that Sony is finding out that these monolithic games are not sustainable and do not make the money.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That-
It's like Sony is like 2 steps ahead of Microsoft, but in the worst possible way.
Right,
It's like
because-
Microsoft is trying to get to that spot where they have the ability to develop these huge games and realize, oh wait, we're just gonna lose money on all
Yeah.
these.
And it's like they're
and
not seeing.
Sony had already gotten some of the smaller studio layoffs out of the way, like with Japan Studios being closed a few years ago.
Yeah.
You
there's a
mean months?
Yeah, there's gonna be a crash.
That happened a few years
They're
ago.
crashing.
They literally closed. Well, they just closed studios like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was specifically Japan studios.
No, Japan Studios has been closed for about 2 years at this point, I think.
But I don't know. It's wild. I don't think it's going to be really hard for. It's so weird that last year at this time, everyone was saying that Microsoft's reputation is really on the line with this Summer Games Fest, and now we're
Now their reputation's in tatters.
in tatters and like
And they did it to themselves.
it's on the line, I guess, again. But like, what end? Like,
I can't wait for Phil Spencer to get on that stage and announce all the new acquisitions of studios they made.
I don't think they'll do any of that.
Yeah, I hope they don't.
Because they can't buy anymore.
Yeah, they're all gone.
Yeah.
It's not that they're all gone. I think that at this point they would stop them. I would hope, in
I
theory,
don't think so.
that they would stop them.
I mean, I think that they could easily go out and buy more studios.
Yeah, I think Microsoft can get away with buying a few more. I mean, they probably won't be.
Like they
Like,
couldn't
it
buy
won't be
another
Ubisoft,
Activision. They
you
couldn't.
know?
They couldn't buy Square Enix. Thank the
God
Lord.
forbid.
God, I was reading something talking about how they multiple times have thought about trying to buy Square Enix. I don't know if each time they have like been rebuffed or whatever, but God, it makes me. I'm so thankful that they have not. Even though Square Enix has made baffling decisions of their own.
I'm pretty sure that they're
financials.
probably closer to being bought by Sony than anything.
But it is nice to know that they didn't get bought by Microsoft and then be shut down. Like that would be like that would be so sad.
It would be.
Ugh. Yeah.
It is frustrating. They have all this. They now own all this. It's the same thing with Embracer and stuff. They
so true.
They own all this IP now that they don't have the people to work on, and
And they don't want to spend the money to
Yeah.
get it made.
they I think they're willing to spend the money. I think they just don't.
At
Like
least in
they-
Xbox's case, clearly
I don't
not.
think So
Like it's they want quick turnaround.
Right.
And the problem is I don't think
You
Bethesda is
You can't have
capable.
AAA games
I
with a
think
big turnaround.
They should
Not
let
anymore.
Bethesda buy themselves out and become their own thing again. Do like that would probably be best for Bethesda.
Yeah, well, I don't think that Bethesda is in danger of getting closed.
No, I don't think so either.
So I think that those people are looking at like, all right, we're not really worried about
But
this.
I also think a lot of Bethesda is probably, if you want me to be honest, it's going to eventually be a situation like, sort of. I'm trying to think of another situation where this has happened. The people that made Mass Effect, BioWare.
Yeah.
The BioWare that exists today is not the BioWare that made KOTOR. It is there's a completely new. It is the name BioWare, but it
Yeah.
is a completely different group of developers. And I think eventually what will happen is Bethesda still exists, but
Sure.
Microsoft
But I think,
systematically
that can.
replaces with.
But I don't know if that would be Microsoft doing it. I think that Bethesda has Skyrim 6 on the horizon, and I think that they're
What
probably
does on the horizon mean? That's the
yeah. Who knows? But I think
Yeah.
having announced that, I think the people probably feel a bit secure and be like, well, we're probably Gucci working on that until that comes out.
Yeah.
But if people are spending less money on games right now,
Yeah.
because of service games, and so like, I was listening to a podcast the other day with some. They were contemplating if GTA 6 is even really a safe bet anymore. Like,
Yeah, who knows?
are people going to be mad that the GTA Online didn't carry over? Are people like, is it going to carry over? Are people even interested in a single player GTA anymore because they've been so
Yeah, I would say
trained?
so.
Yeah, but they've been trained to like GTA Online more for 10 years now.
Sure, but
little over a
I think
decade.
that's also ignoring the entire portion of the player base that
Yeah, I think
that
they're-
loves Rockstar because of stuff like Red Dead. You know, like they're all the same game, just different flavored, pretty much. You have all those people that like Red Dead 2 is their favorite game of all time, and it's solely because of the single player. They know that they can
but
expect
Red
a similar
Dead 2
experience
didn't
from
sell-
GTA.
But Red Dead 2 hasn't sold GTA numbers.
Well, nothing does.
Yeah.
Like, and Red Dead Online didn't do anywhere near what they wanted it to do.
Sure, but the
But
point that
GTA
I'm
has
getting...
more cultural cachet, and I think that there are non-GTA online players who would get a GTA 6.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I also think it's possible that if they don't carry over GTA Online, there's a lot of people who are going to be like, I'm good with what I have.
Yeah,
And what
I don't know.
my weird RP server that I've spent a bunch of money to flip burgers in with people that
Ugh,
like-
Lord, these freaking games as a service, man. They're like a
They're
blight.
yes.
They have also been a net negative on. They were a very cool idea.
I'm the proof of concept that you can do both. People should just be better. That's my opinion.
Yeah, so
I play multiple games as a service,
Yeah,
and
but-
normal video games. And people
yes,
should just
but
be
the
better.
thing is, like, the games as a service are so much more financially lucrative that it funnels all types of games into that mode.
You shouldn't be playing 30 rounds of Fortnite a night. You should play some other stuff.
Yeah, but
Person
it's
that's listening.
It is frustrating. It's just stupid. I think it's all gonna fail within the next 5 years anyway. So
It's going to be weird.
except for Nintendo probably,
Well, yeah.
because they'll be making their weird kitschy games.
And Xbox will just pivot to making PC machines. That's what's inevitably going to happen. Is that it's going to be the Xbox is going to slowly pivot to a Steam
maybe
type environment.
I
Probably
and
even have Steam on it.
It's weird. Like, this is also like a creation of their own making, as Microsoft and Sony in the arms race.
I was
of-
about to
of
say the
frames
video
per
game's
second
arms
and-
race
and
graphical
wanting to have-
fidelity.
Yeah, it's like you have
And you can see
created.
the pores on
you
these
continue
people.
to create machines that require even more and more development time and money to create the kind of experiences that you want. And
The PS5 Pro is all but like it's coming out this holiday.
like if we were,
And it
if we
only
were
the
still
only
working,
difference is it does ray tracing.
if we were still working on like even Xbox One specs, like games take like 1 to 2 years less to create, I think,
Yeah.
and they cost less to create.
It's almost surprising if
And
a
that's what-
studio can get more than, I would say, 1.5 to 2 games out per generation at this point.
And look, that's what Switch is running on, and they're doing gangbusters. And people don't care about how they look compared to Xbox and
Last of
PlayStation
Us 2 didn't
because they're offering different experiences.
Last of Us 2 didn't even outsell Luigi's Mansion 3. My favorite
You love to hear
consistent statistic. That almost all the games on PlayStation don't even outsell Luigi's Mansion 3. Like it's nuts.
And it's always
That's
going to be
crazy.
unfair comparing anything to
To
a game
a
with Mario
monolithic-
titles in it, but
I was
it's still like.
a monolith of the games industry, Luigi's
But it's
Mansion.
but it's not like we're talking about Mario World here. We're talking about Luigi's Mansion, which is this little niche thing.
We look at the insane attach rate of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which has sold over 60 million copies versus the...
Well, when that gets bundled with every
100
single Black Friday
I
Switch
don't
sale,
think those numbers count.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
It is because Nintendo's picky about the sales numbers they report.
Okay.
Because they also don't report their digital. They only report
Like the
physical
freaking
copies
comics
sold.
industry, dude.
They only report physical copies sold. So we know for a fact there's about a 40% install rate of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe physically. Who knows how many of those people bought it digitally, or it came with their Switch.
Yeah.
It's wild.
You're not getting that with Last of Us Part 2 or GTA.
I think it's also interesting looking at so the first video game crash just destroyed Western video games, and it really wasn't until Nintendo released the NES that the games industry in the West was able to build itself back up. And I think it's interesting that all of these huge AAA games, which are someone
Is
flying a plane really close, or it could be a drone.
Is that plane going to crash?
I don't know. That'll,
Well, we have to leave that in because that was terrifying.
Yes.
I thought that was going to hit a building.
I did too.
Is that a helicopter, maybe? I don't
No,
know.
that-
Because
you
when
would
it
have
was going
heard
away, well, that's the thing. When it was going away, I thought I heard the woo, 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 woo. Anyways.
It was actually a
You-
dubstep plane. That's what you're hearing, the whoa, whoa, whoa. But yeah, I think it's weird that
God.
I mean, sure, there are big studios making huge games in Japan, but I think that when it is the sort of Western world of game development that is creating these, by and large, these bigger and more massive games that is driving once again the video games industry into what could a potential crash. Well, Nintendo is again doing something completely different. It's not really a parallel, but I just think it's an
cyclical.
interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
It's weird. Gaming's weird
Yeah,
right now.
Anyway, speaking of the Switch, what were you going to tell us about the Switch earlier?
It's been leaked that it's going to have essentially a light version of NVMe, and it's going to have 256 gigs of onboard memory and 12 gigs of RAM. So it already is going to be more powerful than a PS4. So that's
Nice.
good.
Nice.
Woohoo.
In the power of your hand.
That's genuinely crazy.
Yeah, so what happened earlier this week was Nintendo president Furukawa on Twitter said that the Switch 2 is going to be revealed within, or the successor to the Switch will be revealed within the fiscal year. And there will be a direct in June, which will not include any news about the new Switch.
Yeah.
And apparently I don't know if it was in investor Q&As, but there was a quote that he referred to it more as, he was basically saying that we should expect the Switch successor to be more of the same rather than something drastically different, which I think is good.
That's okay. I mean, the Switch is kind of a knock it out of the ballpark idea.
Yeah.
Why not do it again?
Supposedly going to have magnetic suction.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yo.
I don't know that I feel like having Joy-Cons attached magnetically.
I think they might be magnets inside the guardrails, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess
Especially because I'll tell you that mine inside the guardrails will just pop off all the time.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah, that does happen. If you're holding it in the wrong way, it can just sort of slide up. So hopefully that is just designed to provide a better connection on there. Because I think if it was just magnets instead of the rails, it'd be like, I feel afraid to hold this thing.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, an 8-inch OLED screen.
You'd love to hear it.
Which, I don't know. I don't know that it needs to be bigger.
No.
Like
Well,
the Switch.
it may need to be bigger just to house the...
That's true.
I've heard that
All the
it's
new
not
stuff.
going to be OLED. But
Yeah, well, I remember
There's conflicting
there were
reports on
reports
that.
months ago that said it wasn't OLED. I feel like the more recent stuff has said that it is. So I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they went, but I don't know. How you gonna go to a worse screen?
What if they do curved OLED?
the person...
It's just like a boomerang.
God. The person that leaked
would be insane.
some of the internals was Centro Leaks, who they do a lot of Pokemon leaks also. And they did say that Pokemon Legends ZA will be the focus of Pokemon Day 2025, so it won't be out by then. So that's a bummer.
Oh, well.
But, Switch 2 planned to, according to him, or them, I have no clue what they are. Switch 2 planned March 2025.
I don't even know if they're human. They could be a Pokemon.
It could be a Pokemon.
Oh, they're Mewtwo.
The June Direct is supposedly more remasters.
Maybe they're that Latias who turned into a human and kissed Ash.
Yeah.
And that they said that some third-party games will be confirmed as Switch 2 as early as the second half of this year.
That's interesting.
And
Yeah, I
the
think
What
Switch
we're
2
hearing is
will
that
be-
Metroid Prime 4 is not coming out this year,
Yeah,
baby.
we're probably looking at what month was Switch revealed? Was it like
I think it was like
It was
March or
October.
something.
Yeah, it was October,
Oh,
November.
yes.
and then it
Yes.
came out in January. I think we're probably looking at a similar thing here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it would
They
make
have-
sense if they're just doing like remasters and stuff.
They have a Fire Emblem game that's completed.
Yeah.
That is just sitting there.
I thought that was. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure that was Engage.
No, that they redid the genealogy of a holy war or whatever that one is. That is that
Seth is really
Jeff
happy
Grubb
about
Jeff
this.
Grubb has been saying this for I promise like 2 years now. He's like, they've remade this game. I keep hearing that it's just sitting on a shelf. They haven't brought it out yet. They also have the Zeldas ready to go at any given moment.
If they show that in the next raid, I'm gonna have a bodily reaction that no one will need to see. Oh my god.
But like, we'll get the Zeldas probably. The
What about Kirby's?
no, I don't know.
Is there any? What could there be?
They already
Air
did a
Ride
remake.
remaster?
Kirby
They did
Super Duper
they did a
Star
remaster
Ultra.
already for this year.
Not Air Ride remaster.
Yeah, not Air Ride remaster.
Air Ride, yeah.
Air Ride. Or Super Duper Star
Super,
Ultra.
yeah. Ultra Mega.
And we'll probably get a Pokemon. We'll probably get
just
a
one.
Pokemon.
Just one, and it won't be Pikachu. It will be.
Probably go back to Johto. I hope.
Yeah, I could see. The Let's Go Johto rumors have been out there forever, but I
Yeah.
hope
Yeah.
that doesn't happen. I just don't want it. I just want it to happen.
I mean, I'd play it. I don't care.
Yeah,
But yeah, it'll be more remakes, and
which is
who
fine,
knows?
I guess. I hope they do some like more niche titles.
Supposedly,
They're remaking.
Metroid Prime 2 and 3 are done, slash
We've heard
slightly being worked
it.
on.
We've heard
Like
it
they,
before.
perfect time to release those would be July, so that people can be ready for 4 in March, since that'll probably be a launch title.
Yeah.
In
theory.
In theory, do we think we get a Switch 2 launch title announcement in June
No.
without a Switch 2 announcement?
No.
I mean, how could we?
Well, okay. I'll say
We
they-
knew about Breath of the Wild for
yeah. So I was about to say.
Okay, so
I'll
you're
say
saying
yes
they're
if it's
going
a
to, yeah,
cross
they're going to announce a
title.
game
that is
that
going
is
to
going to
very
come
obviously
in-
be.
come out next year.
Yeah, they'll say it's coming out next year, and it'll be like a wink and a nod of like,
Right.
it's coming out next year at a specific time. Because we knew about Breath of the Wild for a while, and then it was a cross-generational game.
Yeah.
Also, breaking news: as of June 10th, 2024, it will no longer be possible to post screenshots and videos to X, formerly Twitter, from the Nintendo Switch's album.
That makes sense. Decaying platform.
Thanks, Elon.
Dead platform.
D-Blob.
Blob.
Platform.
Well, maybe we'll get a D-Blob 2 remaster.
That's possible. That's probably already exists. I would bet. But yeah. Gaming is simultaneously dying and so back. So it's how it goes. I do think that this year, from all the podcasts I listened to,
There's no remaster of D-Blob 2.
they have said that this year is
Also, it's stylized as D-Blob 2, and the 2...
yes,
is
it is
not separate
It is
from the
not
Blob.
separate from the Blob. Yes,
D-Blob 2.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's weird.
that this
People
this
also
year
ask,
is a
D-Blob 1 or 2 better?
this year is a soft crash, and then next year is going to be
Hard crash.
Back
into
up.
a wall.
well. Next year is when Sony's releasing all their big stuff, and Nintendo's releasing a new console and all
What
their
big
big stuff.
stuff?
Sony's releasing.
All of those remakes of
I
this game
cannot-
that came out.
I cannot think of any big Sony titles on the horizon.
Sony has the
We're remastering The Last of Us.
well, Wolverine. Wolverine is coming out.
So true.
God of War remastered.
They've got
but the
The 2018 one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
we're remastering Death Stranding
they've
again.
been working on Ghost of Tsushima 2. So
but they're
like,
also going to remaster that first.
No, they already had a PS5.
no, Seth, you don't
release.
understand that they are probably doing Horizon Remastered
Horizon
this year.
remastered. And then a
Such a
remaster
waste.
of
And-
Horizon 2.
Supposedly, the game
And a
for
re-release
Sony that might
Spider-Man
come out
again.
this year is whatever Cory Balrog has been working on since he didn't do the God of War Ragnarok.
He didn't?
No,
They're
dang.
also going to remaster Ragnarok.
he
Re-Ragnarok.
I don't
He's-
think I knew about that.
he split off at some point during
Is he
development.
still with Santa
Yes,
Monica?
before-
no,
Okay.
he's
Splinter
still
Cell.
with
Gotcha.
them, but he went off.
Just
to,
wasn't the director for that.
Yeah, he
Okay.
went off to make another game while that one was happening.
Gotcha.
It's God of War, but starring Ares. A different God of War.
But yeah, gaming industry simultaneously in the dumps and so back at the same time. There
Look,
have been a lot of
it's-
really good releases to come out
It's
recently.
really great for the executives at the top.
Well, yeah,
They're pulling in tons of money.
Yeah.
that's
And that's how you
I
know
mean,
if
we
an
can-
economy is doing good is that
Right.
the executives
the
and
rich
the rich
people
people.
we can
are
complain
getting
about
money.
that in gaming, but that is as we breathe right now.
Yeah.
the forever problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's there's no ethical consumption under capitalism.
No.
But
Regardless, there are
if
good
you
games
let me
still
go back
coming
to
out.
Johto, I will
You
buy
will
that
forgive
video.
everything.
None of it looks like brilliant
And
diamond
I
and shining pearl.
no, it won't look like that as long as I can
It'll
catch
probably just look
Lugia.
like the previous Let's Go games, which just looked like
Looked good.
Crap.
It looked good.
It just
wanna
looked
play
like Omega
Pokemon
Ruby
Go.
and Alpha Sapphire.
Let me get Lugia. That's all I want.
Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire look better.
I
then let's go.
don't want to talk favorably about anything to do with Ruby and Sapphire.
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were good. Look, I'm a Gen 3 hater, but those remakes were good.
I don't feel safe here.
No, I mean, those games are bad.
Would you, Forrest? If you're in the woods, would you rather encounter a bear or a Pokemon Gen 3 hater?
A bear. Especially if it's like Ursaring or something.
I like Ursaring.
Yeah.
too, but Gen 2.
Man.
Are there any Gen 3 bears?
I don't think there are a whole lot of bears in Pokemon.
No, there's not a whole lot of
No,
bears.
there's
You
the
get the Teddy
snow,
Ursaline.
there's the Drippy Boys.
Trippy, yeah, the
Yeah.
sneezy bears.
Obama Snow.
No,
No,
New Bear.
that's
Cubchoo
the,
and
yes.
Cub Fu, New Bear,
Yeah, New Bear.
and then there's the
Urshifu.
Kung Fu. No, that's the Kung Fu. Yeah, Urshifu.
Is he a
But
gorilla?
also there's the other
No.
Kung Fu panda that was in X and Y.
Slack King is kind of a
He's a sloth.
bear,
King,
but he's a
yes,
sloth.
Could be a sloth bear, but
Sloth
that-
bear.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't
I've
call it
never
a bear.
heard that take ever.
That's what
never
Baloo
had
is.
that idea.
But I don't think he's a bear. Outside of that, yeah, I think that's all the bears.
Not many bears in Pokemon.
Yeah,
No.
they could do with more bears,
They could
more
do-
twinks.
There was a what's that pink bear that was in the newer one?
Pink bear. Oh yeah, Beware.
Beware.
Yeah.
That was also a bear. So we got like 4 bears.
Yeah.
Maybe
Name
5.
all the bears you know. That's the other thing. Name 100 women, Seth. I don't like.
You know, I could probably do that with enough time.
But all right, so we appreciate you listening to us,
Especially if they're fictional women.
fumble through dealing with everyday life while being a person that enjoys gaming. It is a complicated minefield out there. Corporations
Especially
are
if you're deep
terrible.
blood.
Don't believe in them foolishly. Sometimes it may look optimistic when a company is
Yeah, but they're not your
doing
friends.
something.
They all they want to do is smash a piano to make a new iPad.
And I still maybe,
God, I hate
I
that
still maybe
commercial.
argue that
Tim Cook, go back to the kitchen.
I still think that maybe Activision
Get it?
should have at least gotten the new leadership. You know,
Yeah,
that was ran by objectively terrible people that assaulted and harassed coworkers. So I don't know if that one was a net positive or not, but net negative in the
Mark Hamill is back as the Joker in Multiverses.
yeah.
Yep.
So that Multiversus, the game that I don't know if it's even live right now, because that is
That makes more sense than Joker in the Suicide Squad.
Yep.
yep. All right, we will talk at you next
I mean, you
week.
got Captain Cold right there. He uses a gun.
Yeah, he does. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.